Iron Beam. This is a video of Israel's Iron Beam directed energy weapon in action, a powerful laser obliterating a drone in mere seconds. The test footage, released by the Israeli government, showcases one of the strongest practical laser combat weapons in existence, with 100 kilowatts of power. Developed by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems, the system has grown from an initial power of tens of kilowatts when first unveiled in 2016 to 100 kilowatts today, significant enough to incapacitate short-range projectiles such as rockets and UAVs at a distance of 7 to 10 kilometers. Utilizing a newly designed fiber laser, the system is small enough for actual combat use and only costs several dollars per shot compared to the $150,000 that a salvo from the current Iron Dome missile system can cost. Yet the Iron Beam, like all weapon systems, has limitations. Two significant ones stand out: weather and power. Israel's varying weather, especially long periods of rain in the north, poses a challenge for the laser. Additionally, the Iron Beam's laser, though operating at the speed of light, doesn't have enough power to neutralize threats instantaneously and must track a target for several seconds. This is evidenced by the 4-second duration in the test video, from the laser's activation to the drone's incapacitation. The Iron Beam system may not be as effective for larger missiles, especially those with thermal projection, like some from Iran. However, the system's mobility, functioning from a truck instead of stationary buildings, offers strategic advantages. While the 100 kilowatt laser is potent, reports indicate that the US is already advancing with a 300 kilowatt and 500 kilowatt version. These versions, developed by Lockheed Martin, have already demonstrated the capability of shooting down larger cruise missile threats. As for its deployment, Israeli officials have announced no formal timeline. However, reports suggest that the initial deployment could commence by the end of 2023. This has led to speculation that Israel may be utilizing the system during the current conflict in Gaza. Some viral videos have even circulated showing laser beams targeting flying rockets, but those have largely been debunked. For now, the world watches as Israel integrates this futuristic defense system into its arsenal, changing the landscape of modern warfare.
This newly released footage shows the Dragonfire laser-directed energy weapon system in action, and it could be in the hands of military personnel in 5 years' time. It destroys targets with an intense beam of light and has pinpoint accuracy. It's able to hit something the size of a £1 coin from a kilometre away.
So we've been talking about the cost of firing a laser weapon to be £10 a shot. And really all we're talking about is the cost of the energy that you need to fire the laser weapon, obviously once you've got the system in place in the first place. And that compares very favorably with missiles, which might be thousands or tens of thousands or even more per single shot.
Scientists say Dragonfire proved itself in testing in Scotland and has the potential to transform the UK's defence capability. It could be used on land or sea and would remove the reliance on high-cost ammunition.
Drones are a really good example of the kinds of targets that a laser weapon would be very effective against. And certainly in our demonstrations, drones are one of the targets that we've successfully engaged on a number of occasions at really useful ranges.
Britain isn't alone in developing this technology. Militaries around the world see the advantage, like Israel, which has Iron Beam, designed to destroy short-range objects too close for the Iron Dome system.
We don't like to compare Dragonfire too specifically with what's being done in other countries, because they have their own research programs which we're not privy to. But what I would note is that the Dragonfire technology that we've designed is UK bespoke technology, which is owned by us and can be used by us in support of generating laser weapons for our own platforms in future.
Dragonfire is now back from Scotland and will potentially be involved in further trials. Claire Sadler, Forces News.
This is the US Navy's new weapon. The US Navy has released stunning images showing its incredible new drone-destroying laser weapon in action for the first time. The Helios system blasts more than 60 kilowatts of directed energy, enough to power up to 60 homes at the speed of light, and can hit targets up to 5 miles away. Helios can fire for as long as it has power, which it collects from the ship, meaning it never runs out of power. It is designed to counter a range of threats, including drones, small boats, and potentially incoming missiles. Helios was also designed to disrupt the intelligence and reconnaissance sensors on enemy vessels. The testing comes as threats against America's warships are growing as foreign nations stock their arsenals with drones and anti-ship missiles.
Dramatic new video shared with ABC News shows what firefighters faced as the fire approached the historic town of Lahaina. The flames shooting past the fire truck's window, the black smoke blinding.
Our visibility is really limited right now.
Another video from August 7th capturing what could be an early trigger to the deadly fire.
It's windy and then there's a flash, and I think that's when a tree's falling on a power line.
Now, 13 days after that devastating wildfire, officials say 85% of the destroyed area has been searched.
This morning, as the death toll continues to grow on Maui, new video surfaces raising questions as to what may have sparked the deadliest wildfire in modern U.S. history. And watch as this security camera captures what could be an early trigger in that devastating wildfire. August 7th at 10:47 p.m., a day earlier. You hear a witness describe a flash that might be a tree falling on a power line.
It's windy and then there's a flash, and I think that's when a tree's falling on a power line. The power goes out.
One expert saying those videos taken in upcountry Maui show the flames spreading and maybe the first evidence of downed power lines igniting a fire.
We've got that video of that kind of explosion, and we've got 10 sensors in that community that show a very sharp drop in electrical voltage at precisely that same time.
Power line just went down.
By the next morning, August 8th at 6:37 a.m. in Lahaina, Shane True uses a garden hose to battle a fire.
That's the power line that started from up the road there, and all of that is still burning.
Authorities declaring that brush fire under control around 9 a.m., but then lost control of the flames hours later when the winds caused a flare-up to spread. By 5 p.m., Lahaina's historic Front Street up in flames. The power company saying it is still investigating what triggered the fire, adding the cause has not been determined.
Oh, this is live right across the street from my house. Freaking power line just went down. I hear a pop coming from across the street. As soon as I hear the pop, all I heard is like electrical, like zzz, going on the ground there. Look, there's the power line right there. See them right there, that's the power line that started from up the road there, and all of that is still burning. From there, to me, it simulated a fuse, like somebody lit a fuse for a firework, and it just followed a straight line all the way up to the pole where the thing was, and it landed in a bigger pile of dry grass, and that just ignited. You get all this wind blowing, and now you get a fire. That was fuel, and just in a matter of minutes, that whole place was just engulfed. They came up with a water truck, started dousing it, had another couple local construction companies brought up their water tankers, just also helped and assist in just knocking down the fire. Hey, heads up, the line is live on the ground right there. I send my family away ready. Thank you. We thought it was all contained. And then from there, just went ahead about our day, thinking that it was all done. Unbeknownst that later on that afternoon, the winds just continued to just smoke the whole day. And I guess that's what just fueled the restarting. Yeah, I'm happy that it was out there for them to see. And a lot of them got warning when they saw the Facebook Live. Maybe it'll bring closure to some of the families, answer some of the questions, help determine what was the start.
Overnight, that rare new video showing the spark which incinerated 12 homes, damaged 5 others in LA's pricey Brentwood neighborhood. Take another look. Officials claiming high winds carried a tree branch into a city power line, those sparks igniting the flames, fueling that fire. The charred remains of structures spanning nearly 650 acres, over 20,000 residents remain under mandatory evacuation orders.
Directed energy weapons will soon be a familiar sight on Royal Navy ships, after the MOD announced it's accelerating its £100 million laser weapons programme and introducing them to the front line in 2027, 5 years ahead of schedule.
Targeting is done very, very accurately. We're looking to target something about the size of a £1 coin, at X kilometres range. Once the pointing and tracking system has locked up that aim point on the target, the laser fires and the laser energy is then focused on that point. And the special thing about laser weapon systems is the ability to then hold that aim point and focus all that energy onto the target. The better you're able to do that, the faster you achieve the effect on the target as well. So you burn through the outer casing, you affect what's inside, and ultimately you achieve the effect on the target that you want.
This was Dragonfire in action on a test firing in the Hebrides earlier this year. And this is the damage it can do. On display at DSTL, the military's technology research centre at Porton Down, some of the targets they've tested it on, from melted drones and sheets of steel to 120mm mortar shells, the casing turned to molten metal.
Huge amount of hard work, lots of engineers, lots of DSTL scientists, and we got to the point that we demonstrated the capability. So taking raw electrical power, squeezing it down to create a laser beam, and then critically being able to target it in quite a complex environment. So it's absolutely accurate, and therefore all that power ends up on the target. It's a game changer. This is a revolutionary step in terms of capability.
Research into the military applications of laser technology go back to the 1980s, and of course the UK isn't the only one doing this. This was the US Navy ship USS Portland back in 2020, using a 150 kilowatt laser to take down a drone. The UK has played catch-up, but has now become a world leader in this technology.
The big step change which has enabled us to do this is actually in the laser source itself, where we generate the laser, where we're now getting up to these very high powers, and the techniques to actually enable you to have a very high power and high quality beam, because you need both to defeat a target. And it's how you join create that beam in the first place, and then it comes out through the aperture on the beam director, it reflects off the target, and we use the fire aperture there to actually analyse the return, to play games with or fine-tune that output beam, which now makes it a much more effective and more relevant weapon for the Navy and the Army.